daughter.
So you just had
there's
and then two baby.
There's three women in this whole story.
Yeah.
I thought there was only two.
Yeah.
I thought
That's why there's confusion.
Yeah. Damn.
No.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I was married. Remember you said, yeah, I was married. So
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. I had like a girlfriend, a baby mama, and a wife all at.
Yeah.
So
I got you.
so basically there was like a crazy triangle going on here. It's basically it's Hurricane Terry, and I'm the eye of the storm.
Welcome back to episode 5, I think. Episode 5.
Episode 5. Yep.
Episode 5. We got a special guest today, Aamir Terry. We're going to be calling him up on the phone. I think he has a lot to talk about.
He's a man at war.
He's a man at war.
This is a special treat for all of us, including. So, hi, Aamir.
Yeah. So here we go. Let's hit him up.
Seen him for
he's one of our boys from back in the day, from high school. Hopefully we can hear him good on here.
Well,
Hey, baby.
Yo.
hey, what it do?
What up? Long time, man.
I know.
Yeah, I know. What's up?
Chilling. So, yeah, we just jumped on the podcast and, trying to hear a little bit about your story and kind of what you went through. And we titled it Man at War.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So, yeah, tell us a little about your situation.
Wait, where are you at?
Yeah, where you living right now?
Oh, yeah, I live in Temple, Texas. It's like right outside the city, or right outside of Austin.
Oh, okay. You know John Haley's out in Texas, right?
Yeah, I think he's out in San Antonio.
San Antonio, Texas, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's about like 3 hours away from me.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, man.
So why'd you move out there? For the Army?
Yeah, well, I got out of the military in 2014, and my daughter was born in 2015, so I decided just to stay. It just made sense just because, I have a job now right up the road. I didn't know I was going to end up staying here to work, but my daughter was like 30 minutes up the road, and the cost of living in New Hampshire is like high as hell.
Yeah,
so there's really no point in me going back home, and cost of living cheaper here.
Well, and then you'd have to figure out how to see your kid.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got one out in Ohio, at the time Ohio, and you got the one in Texas, and me out in New Hampshire. It'd just be like too much like logistic work.
Jeez.
The kids, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You have a pretty crazy story.
Yeah, please tell us from the jump. I want the dirt. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So my daughter, my son was born first in 2011, October 2nd in 2011, and I met his mom in college. We dated for about like 2 years in college, and we were dating on and off. And my son was born like right after I came back from Iraq, and it was like, I think she ended up like coming. I got out of the military in 2014, and so when my son was born, it was conceived. I'll put it that way. It was early 2010.
Did you know she was pregnant?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I did, because she told me she was.
Yeah.
When she told me she was pregnant, what really happened was we tried to make things work out, and things really didn't work out as we thought they were after we dated. It was like more like on and off.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out how we really thought it would. So what happened was I started dating who would be my wife. We ended up getting engaged, and
Wait, you were married. You were engaged while having another woman pregnant, if you will?
Yes, you can put it in that way. There's a long history behind that.
Huh?
So there's a long history behind that.
Hold on. Were you like Aamir during the daytime and Aamir Terry at nighttime?
No.
How did the fiance feel about all this? Like, how did you pull that off?
Yeah, so this is how we were dating first. But what happened was I tried to make things work with the mother of my son. And we kept on going back and forth. And she really didn't want to move out to North Carolina. I was living in North Carolina at the time. and she didn't want to move out there, and just going back and forth. And finally, I was like, if things are not going to work out between us, I said I have the perfect setup at my house. I have 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I had everything planned out, so like where the crib could be, and like the hospital, and all logistics, like how to make things work. And she was like, well, I'm not sure about that, and I'm not sure my job is transferable, and I really don't want to leave. And I'm like, well, I can't go anywhere. I'm in the Army. I just can't up and leave. So then we went back and forth, and after a while, like we just decided that it wasn't going to work at all. And if I were to, be involved with you, it would just be for the sake of my son. And so time went on, and then I'm like, I'm going to move on with my life. And when I told who would be my ex, or my ex-wife at the time, and I just told her the situation, she was cool with it. She's like, I can see there's some separation between you guys. She lives in Ohio. And so, yeah, she was like, I don't see her living down the road. There's not going to be any drama.
Right.
So I ended up getting engaged, and we were dating and stuff like that. So it wasn't just like I was like two different people. I wasn't just like play or anything like that. Just things didn't work out that way. So I mean, I had to tell her eventually. But when she found out, that's when she, flipped her shit.
Yeah.
It was basically like, oh my God, so you got engaged, and you're getting married, and that could have been us. I was like, yeah, it could have, but I'm not going to put my life on hold. I'm like,
right. You kind of offered that to her, and she said no.
Yes. So I was like, this military life is kind of fast moving. I don't really have a lot of time to wait. And I was supposed to get deployed to Afghanistan, actually. But then I ended up going to school in Virginia. So there was that I also wanted to get engaged too, just because I thought I was going to get deployed again. So, that was also one of the things for me wanting to get engaged. And so then she found out, and that's when everything went downhill with her. So then my son was born, and when my son was born, October, I didn't even know he was born. What happened was one of her friends, we're still friends on Facebook, she hit me up. It was like, can you please not tell her, but she sent me a picture. Actually, I still have it to this day.
That's
crazy. She sent me a picture of my son was born. And she's like, please don't let her know that I sent you this picture of your son.
That's a good friend there.
Yeah. So she told me, and to this day, she still doesn't know that, her friend told me that my son was born in Ohio.
How did she know that you knew? At what point you just call her up and be like, oh, hey, how was doing? And she'd be like, oh, by the way, your son is here?
No. So after I tried to call her. She didn't pick up the phone. Then I think she called my mom. I think she called and told my mom. She just wanted someone in my family to know that she knew my mom. But that's when I decided just to call her. And I called her like 3 different hospitals around like the Dayton area. And of course, they can't tell you that,
right.
This girl is here with your child. So eventually, like a month later, she ended up picking the phone, and that's when she was like, she just started flipping out, and I can do this on my own. I don't need you, and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, I got something for you. So what I did was,
what did you do?
So I ended up tracking her down, and I took the paternity test myself. So I put myself on child support. So I tracked her down, and I took the swab test, and I remember her address in Ohio. So I basically, had to serve her paperwork to, for her to take the other end of the paternity test. So of course it came back 100% that it was my, 99.999% my son. And I was like, great. So now I know that there's like some legal documentation showing that this is my son.
Right.
Then I was like, okay, then since I basically, once you take the DNA test, you automatically get hit with child support. I was like,
really?
Great. Because, so I didn't even, I didn't sign the birth certificate, and my son doesn't have my last name. I never even named him his whole name at all. So, so so he doesn't have my last name, middle name, or nothing.
Yeah.
Only thing, well, not only thing, but he looks exactly like me, which pisses her off that he looks nothing like her at all.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of good. So whenever she gets mad at me over the phone, she can always just look at him and get even mad in person. So, but yeah, so that's how that worked out. And so, I put myself on child support, but I didn't know I was going to get hit over the head with that much money in child support per month. But then she started playing like the what do you call, like the victim of the whole thing, and that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, somehow like I, got her pregnant and I left her, and she had complications with the pregnancy, and then my son was born prematurely, like 6 weeks, I think, like 6 or 7 weeks early.
Oh wow.
He's supposed to be born around my birthday, on the 27th of November, but he wasn't. He was born October the 2nd. And, she blamed me for complications with her pregnancy, that I stressed her out by getting engaged and all this other stuff. I'm like, that I had nothing to do with that at all.
Right.
So, but to this day, she still blames me for stressing her out, which caused her to have an early pregnancy. So I'm like, I don't. Some days I'm just like, okay, great. Some days most days I actually just chalk it up and just listen to her talk about the same stories that.
So you guys still aren't
ago.
on good terms?
No, not really. Things are starting to come around a little bit, but she still brings up things that happened in college, and she sometimes even brings up my ex-wife or even my girlfriend at the time, who is my daughter's mom as well too.
Yeah.
You got engaged.
How long has this been?
Since when?
Was it 2011 or 2014?
When my son was born?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was born in 2011.
11.
He was born in 2011. So yeah, he just turned 8 last week. So yeah, so this has been going on for like almost a decade.
Oh my God.
So yes, but I think, now I'm more of a better place to handle, the slander. You're a piece of shit. You're a bad father. I'm going to take you for all this money, and you're not going to see your son. And then, legally, there's a documentation showing that you can't take him from me, and
right.
You can't say I cannot see him, and you can't make up rules to say, well, I think you should pay me more child support money, but that's not what the court says. So this is how much the court says I have to pay, and that's how much I'm paying.
Right.
It's not how much I was in the military anymore. I don't make that much money as I did in the military.
Now did you have to go back to court for that to get it changed?
No. What happened was that's another funny story. There is when I got out of the military in 2014, like I said, but I didn't tell her that I got out of the military, and I didn't even tell my ex-wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, that I was getting out of the military either. So they gave me an option to get out of the military because there was like a separation board, because there were so many of us that came out of a graduating class in 2008. So basically it's like you get your pink slip. Like you can be perfectly good soldier or whatnot, but they're like, hey, there's too many of you. So they gave me an option of getting out, and they gave me like a severance pay. So I looked at the numbers and I was like, shit, fuck, I'll get out for this much money. So I got out, and so I didn't tell her. So when I got out, I didn't tell my ex, I didn't tell no one. And so what happened was she expected the amount of money that I was paying. Well, my child support started off like $12.76 a month. And
are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was like $1,200. Yeah, it was like $1,200, over $1,200 a month. Then it got reduced to like $800.
Shit.
Yeah. So actually, when they told me how much I was paying in child support, I hung up. and I hung up and I called back to child support people. I was like, hey, make sure you guys got my social right.
Right.
Like,
is that me?
Yeah, I was like, I was like, this is me. And I was like, oh my God. And at the time I was married, and my wife was like, what the hell? Why do you? But what happened was, little backstory of that was, she stopped working. So it looked like she wasn't bringing in any income.
Yeah.
And I was bringing in all the income.
Yep.
So that's why I looked that way.
Up.
Yeah. So what happened was, after I got out of the military, I didn't tell her at all. So what happened was, she thought that she was about to get like, she thought that she's about to get her $900 check, and her check wasn't hitting like that no more. It wasn't. Her check was not hitting like that anymore. Yeah. So when I got out, I didn't work, so they capped me down a little bit lower, and my check wasn't being coming out of my my military pay anymore. So when the numbers weren't hitting, she called the Army and was like, I'm not getting child support, and he's not paying, and all this other stuff. And they were like, man, Captain Terry, he's not here anymore. He's not in the military. So that's how she found out I wasn't in the military. Damn. Because she basically got cut off, and that's how I kind of started like my new like life. And my ex-wife didn't even know that I was getting out, because I didn't know where she was at when I was getting divorced. So he called looking for her spousal support, and they were like, yeah, you're not getting any more money because he's gone. So I basically just cut off two people at the same time, and they weren't getting any money from me. And I just, I mean,
cut
both of them off.
$1,200 a month. I don't see her getting another job. You know what I mean? Like, she'll probably just live off. She was probably just living off that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even. And yeah, you're living off $1,200 a month, but you're still not letting me see my son.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like you want all this money, but you're not going to let me see my son. So everything's in black and white, and it's about, you have to put your emotions aside to realize that one, you got to do things like you're adults, and two, it's legally, this is a binding contract that you signed and agreed with, and I signed and you agreed with. We went to court. I took you to court 3 times. So it's kind of one of those things where.
Did you have to pay for her lawyers too, or did she get a lawyer?
Yeah. So I paid for my my lawyer. The first one I paid, and of course the retainer fee is like $2,000.
Yep.
So I paid about $2,000 for that, and I took her to court. And you figure she was in Ohio, so I had to fly to Ohio.
Oh, damn.
Then I also had to get a hotel and whatnot. So that was money right there. Then she wasn't following the court order, so I took her back to court, and I hired a different lawyer. So that's another $2,000 right there.
Now, did she get in trouble for not following the order?
No, she didn't. Yeah. Well, basically, everything they said, they were like, okay, let's just readjust some numbers, and this is what it's going to be now. And then the third time I took her to court, I actually had a good case against her for contempt for not following the court order. And so it was a snowstorm. It was like the middle of the winter, and it was like a blizzard. Like all of a sudden, I go from Texas to driving up Ohio. Like the weather started changing. Like cars started sliding off the road. It was bad.
Oh, you from New Hampshire? You know all about the snow.
No, man. But after a while, if you're driving, I drove to Ohio. I drove like 900 miles, like in a snowstorm.
Damn.
And I was going to get her for contempt. And what happened was, so we're in court, and they call her name. I'm like, oh, this is a wrap right now, man. She didn't show up to court. I'm about to win this shit. Contempt of court. She's going to jail. I was just like, this shit is about to be live right now. Then I was like, this motherfucker. My lawyer never served her. They never, served her the paperwork. So she never knew that she had to be in court.
Did your lawyer make you pay him still?
Well, I already gave him the retainer fee, which is the $2,000.
Wow.
So then after that, I was like, so then I packed my bags up and drove back to Texas at the time, and I'm already pending a divorce already. So I got a pending divorce in Texas. I'm driving to Ohio for a court hearing for my child. So, and I have a pregnant girlfriend. So I'm like, this is just too much right now.
We're gonna start a GoFundMe for you, Aamir.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but you figure this is like when I'm 33 now, where you figure this is about like maybe from like 25 until about like 30, when things were just like crazy. But yeah, so that's the issue with my daughter's mom, or my son's mom. But yeah, so as you can see, things are pretty dicey.
That's crazy, and that's
They're
crazy. It's been 8 years, and it still kind of hasn't, faded off yet. It's still going. You're still going through shit.
no, not really anymore. I
Oh,
think what is starting to happen is that she's starting to see that he's starting to grow up, and
and he
his
needs a
talk.
father in his life.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think now she's starting to realize like he's not like the same, 2-year-old child or 1-year-old, baby anymore. That
Yeah.
he's a boy, and he needs to do boy things, and he's asking questions, and he's starting to be a little bit more rebellious, and doing things that I did when I was a kid. And sometimes you can just hear sometimes she's just frustrated, and I'm like, I mean, I'm not going to tell her like we could have handled all this stuff a little bit better. You probably wouldn't be so frustrated right now. So
Right.
I'm not going to, I'm not going to sit here and try to put the blame on her. You know, to some extent, I got to take the blame too for, dragging this on for too long, or or just not picking the right person to, sleep with,
Right.
make a child with. So I mean, I got to take some responsibility for that. But at the same token, it's like, I kind of, we both kind of have to be adults here and figure out what's best for him.
Yep.
And I think now she's starting to realize that, like, he's 8 years old. He's, wearing deodorant now. He has BO. He does boy things like walks around with his hands in his pants,
Oh
watches
yeah.
TV. He's just doing like typical boy stuff. And some of these things she doesn't know how to explain to him.
How
And
old
I
is
mean,
how old is she
I'm
roughly?
33. She's like 31, I believe. So we're not that far apart. But
You guys just started young.
But you
yeah,
guys were young. How you guys were young when you had kids, though.
yeah. Well, I was 20, 25, and she was
Right.
like 23.
Yeah.
So yeah, so she just graduated from college, and I was already out of college, and I was already doing my own thing in the army and whatnot. So yeah, so we're still kind of young, but old enough to know what the hell you're doing when you decide to
Right.
shack up.
Mm.
So that was the thing too, and I think now that she tries to ask me like, why didn't this thing work out? Why didn't that work out between us? I just was being honest with her. Things didn't work out because I wasn't mature enough to be in a relationship, and I thought that being a dad would be easy and all these things. You grow up without like an unstable house, and you're like, well, my dad's a piece of shit, but this is going to be easy because if he was a piece of shit, I can do everything better than
Right.
him, and
Yeah.
it didn't work. And it didn't work out like that. And I'm like, before you know, you're head over heels of like a wife, a kid, a baby on the way. You have all these, you have all these responsibilities, and I'm like, I'm head over heels right now, and I thought I could handle all the stress of army, husband, father, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's a
I'm
lot.
drowning right now, man. I'm like, I'm freaking drowning right now. Like I need help. So I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
what the hell can I do to, help myself? I was like, well, shit, I'll just drink. So yeah, so that was like a lot of things. That was my coping mechanism was to drink most of the
Damn.
time. Like, it's like I can't stand my wife, drink. Can't stand my baby mama, drink. Some days she just call and just like, call. I'm like, you know what? She just starts cussing me out on the phone. I'm just sitting there drinking beers. I'm like, getting me wound up right now, and I'm about to start going off in about like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things. It's like I didn't have any like I really didn't have any like guidance really growing up either. So I didn't know how to talk about my emotions or how to deal with feelings or hey dad, like what do I do in this situation about having a kid, or what do I do about handle this female situation? I didn't have any of that. So
Yeah.
I just handled things the way I thought I should handle them, but totally ended up fucking me up. So
That's a lot for. I mean, parenting and marriage and doing it right is hard for the perfect setup, if you will. So let alone you have, you guys are young, the girlfriend, the ex, the wife at the time, the newlywed. You just got out of college and freaking the army. I mean, When you found out about the first one, the way you found out, how did you? Well, one, were you even in the mind frame of even? Well, first, sorry, when you found out she was pregnant, were you even in the mind frame of even like having a kid? Were you still like the young, like bachelor type, or were you like, the mature? I kind of want to settle down. Like, where were you at as like as a man, if you will?
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah. So I think I wasn't. Well, she lived in Ohio, so I wasn't necessarily ready to settle down with her, knowing we just basically everything is just going to end up being an argument. But I was ready to take responsibility of being a father and doing my best to raise my son the best I can from 900 miles away. And that's one reason, like I was saying, that's when I got the court order, custody agreement, took a DNA test. So I wasn't necessarily ready to be with her, but I was ready to take responsibility.
Right. You stepped up and did what you needed to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Down the street, they don't even step up. I don't know, 900 miles away. So we know people that are right down the street, they don't even step up. But you're 900 miles away, and your paternity test and freaking doing child support and everything else.
And that's tough too when you got to live life, but then you have to start paying for all those things. Not even yet child support, but you have to pay for getting the DNA test. Then you got to fly down there. Then you got all this court stuff. You know what I mean? Like at 25 years old, that's a lot of stuff to handle too.
Yeah, you figure, and also taking care of soldiers too. So it's like, everything you put everything, you put everything on yourself, and a lot of people, need you. So it's like I really didn't have anyone else to go to. So a lot of the times, if you make money, you think just throwing money at things sometimes is like a good way to handle things. Like, okay, I have money to fly here, go to court. I'll spend this $2K on a lawyer. I'll spend another $2K on another lawyer. And then you're like, well, then you just start throwing money at things, but there's really no solution. You're not really you're not really getting to any solution other than just spending more money without any results. You're not seeing your son anymore. You're just giving money to this lawyer who doesn't really do anything.
Right. Who forgets to
you're
send
paying
papers.
money to see you're paying to see your son that you really don't get to see. So it's like you really have to step back and be like, okay, this is not going to work. Just throwing money at people to help them fix your situations is not going to work. So that's when I just realized that I have to do something other than just throw money at people and expect things to go away.
Right. Yeah.
But that's only just one child. So
I was just about to ask. What's up with your daughter and her baby mama, your baby mama?
So what happened with her? So my daughter was born in 2015 in January, and I met her, my daughter's mom, just before I got out of the military, and things were going well. I think at the time I think things kind of moved too fast for us. Like I was just about to get out. I was pending a divorce. I was about to get out of the military. I already moved into her place. Things just moved fast. Like just my mentality was just like, let's get this thing happening. Let's move. And just my military mentality is just like, let's get this ball rolling. But so things worked out to where I ended up moving in with her. Then obviously how that stuff ends up working out. Cohabitation usually ends up leading to a child. So, now
wait, were you guys married before you had your daughter?
Were
you married,
or were you engaged before you had your daughter with her?
No, we were just dating. We were just dating.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we were just dating. Yeah, because technically I was still pending a divorce. Because I think it took me almost like a year and a half to divorce my wife because they couldn't find her. Like they were trying to serve her.
Oh damn.
And I think we asked me to type up whatever you asked me to type up, like the little sentence or whatnot. But it was like they were looking for her, and it takes so long because they have to put her name in the courthouse and they have to put her name in a newspaper and they got to do all this other crazy shit.
Damn.
So it took more like a year and a half for me to divorce her. So in the meantime, I was like, well, you know, I mean, I had to tell her too. I was like, hey, you know, I'm pending a divorce and all this other stuff, and she was cool with it. And that's when I moved in just before I got in the military. And so yeah, that's how that worked out between us. But yeah, things were cool with us. But
Hold
I
on.
think what's that?
You hold on. So you had your first mother of your kids with the son, and then you had you got married and divorced, and then you had another kid, right?
Kind of. So I was pending divorce. So
Pending
I wasn't.
divorce,
Yeah. So as you can see, there was like if you can just paint a picture, like if you can just think about this in your head, it's like a weird ass triangle basically. That's what you're looking at right now.
Oh,
It's like me at the top. Yeah. So it's like me at the top and two women at the bottom and everything just surfaced right back up to me. Just fucking up people's lives basically. just like spreading my just spreading myself around from state to state. Yeah, man. Just like a weird triangle right now. So that's what it looks like if you just picture like a fucked up triangle. But yeah, so that's how it looked. And things with us were started off okay, but you figure there was a lot going on with me. So I'm still trying to see my son. I haven't seen him maybe like since I think when I started seeing my daughter's mom, I haven't seen my son in like 3 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah, because you figure the military, pending divorce. I was spending all this money on trying to divorce my wife or trying to, do the whole court thing that I really didn't have the money to even, fly him down here to Texas.
Right.
I think I did once. Yeah, I think I did like once when he was like 11 months old. But then right afterwards, then I started spending money on a divorce lawyer or money to go back and forth to court. So the money was there, but it was still kind of tight because I was just spending my money, like I was saying, to help people people to fix my problems.
Yeah.
That weren't going away. So when I met my daughter's mom, it was all that was going on. So when I was pending divorce, paying child support, just about to get out of the military, and so it was a lot going on, and I didn't know how to handle, of course, the stress. Now I'm getting out of the military. Like, what the hell am I going to do with my life now? So of course that's when I started drinking like a lot more. Like just before I got out, man, I was drinking like 3 or 4 40s a night. So and I was smoking probably like a pack of cigarettes a day too. So I was just like stressed beyond belief.
Now, did that have did drinking and stuff have a role, play a part in the relationships with your wife or your fiance at that time?
Yeah, it did. Because you figured that I was in the military, just got back just got out of a deployment, just out of deployment. My son was born, then I got engaged. Then, I'm taking care of anywhere from 40 to like 200 soldiers at a time, working like 13 hours a day. So I didn't really have any like downtime per se.
Yeah.
And my downtime wasn't like sitting on the couch. It was like me either drinking or my downtime was me arguing with my wife or arguing on the phone with someone about something, So
yeah.
I didn't really have a downtime. So a lot of my downtime to myself was just like drinking, which is kind of like a pastime for anyone in the military. Really, it's just like, you drink when you're happy, you drink when you're depressed, you drink when you're bored. So it was just like one of those things. It was just like a habit, also like smoking too. Like it was just a habit. So you have a beer, you have a cigarette, you have a cigarette, you're probably drinking a beer.
Yeah.
So it just became like a habit until it became like more like instead of relaxing and, blowing off steam, going to the, bar with a couple of guys after work. It was more like me just, like some days just like drinking in my car before I even walked in the house in order to deal with her. So it's just like, yeah, I know, like drinking like a 6-pack before I could even walk in the house.
And it's crazy, like when during that time, it's like you don't even think there's anything wrong. you know, you're drinking a 6-pack just to walk in your house. It's like,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah. So then you're just like, yeah, no, then I started like manipulating ways to, drink because, I would just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to take out the trash. So I would have I would hide like a fist behind the trash, or just take out the trash, or I was doing like crazy things.
So it definitely became a problem for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like hiding alcohol
do you still
in
drink
different
now?
places. No, I've been 3 years sober.
3 years. Good for you, man.
Good man.
Yeah. So that was one of the things too. Was one reason my relationship didn't work with my daughter's mom is just because of my drinking, and I think then I started to realize also that we weren't, instead of just calling the relationship off and just like, things are not working out for us, we jumped into things kind of fast. Instead of just sitting down with her, it didn't work out that way. And what we did was, what she did was, this is a crazy story too. I think I told you about that one too. It was just like, just drinking that way. And I think it was October, actually, would have been like, I think it's like 4 or 5 years from this day. From today, I was drinking, and I was working at Enterprise at the time, at the rental car place. It was like my first job. I was like a civilian, and oh my gosh, customer service is horrible. I would never do customer service again. It was the worst fucking job ever. I just realized, I was like, this is not for me right now. This shit is not for me. So I was like drinking every night.
Yeah.
And so one night, I think I was like completely drunk. I should have never been driving.
Damn.
And then like all of a sudden, like I woke up and my car was like crushed. It was like crushed. I'm like, holy shit, I didn't die. And the cop was like, have you been drinking? And I was like, of course not. I'm like, there is no way that I would have passed this shit. He's like, well, someone needs to like come to like the scene and like verify who you are. And I was like, what? You can't look around my license? Like, I was just like being a drunk asshole.
Yeah.
And so I was like, shit, I can call my daughter's mom right now. She could probably help me out.
Oh,
so the accident literally happened 2 minutes from my house.
Oh,
and I was like, actually, I think I was drunk. And I was like, you know what? It's the weekend. I'm going to the strip club. So I was like drunk, like about to go to the strip club, and like probably a bad idea. So the cop comes, or my girlfriend at the time, she comes, and she's like, the cop was like, do you know who this guy is? She's like, yeah, that's my boyfriend. He's like, he said he hasn't been drinking. He's maybe just his medication. He's like, no, he's been drinking all fucking day. I was like,
damn, she just threw you under the bus?
I was like, no, don't let this happen. But
you called her wrong.
I was like, man, you're supposed to, shit, man. It's like, who wants to be a millionaire? Like, I phoned you as a friend. You're supposed to help me out, man. You're supposed to help me out. Hold me down, man. You're supposed to be holding me down. I was like, fuck. It's like, man.
So what happened?
The thing is, I mean, I feel like it's good that it happened because it was a good lesson, but damn.
I mean, she probably did the right thing, but definitely wasn't expecting that. I mean,
I wasn't
expecting.
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. Can I call someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit, man. I was like, oh man. I was like, this is some bullshit.
Wow.
So that happened. So I spent the night in jail, and I got out, and I was like, man. I was so upset with her. I wasn't upset at myself. Like, man, fuck her. Can't believe she did that shit to me. So like, you think I would go home and just like, calm down. So I stopped. I had to walk 5 miles from the jail back to her place. And I stopped at the gas station and bought a can of beer to walk home with.
Jesus.
Oh, wow. Maybe it's a good thing she did call. Maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah, I was like, man, this is probably bad. So I was working again, and I went back to Enterprise, but I lost my license. But I had like a temporary license, and so before you know, they found out and they ended up firing me. Or I actually ended up, they're like, well, you can still work. You need a temporary license. I was like, no, I hate this place anyway.
Nah, fuck you guys.
So basically, I basically just like quit and I checked myself in the rehab. But what happened was like the cop, or there was like a constable who came to my job, and he was like, "It's Aamir Terry here." I was like, "Fuck, man, I'm about to go back to jail." I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And he hands he hands you this paperwork, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" So I open it up, and my girlfriend served me no trespassing orders. So basically, she wanted me out of her house.
Oh shit!
Wait, the one who called?
Yeah, the one his phone a friend.
Oh,
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. So she hit me up with no trespassing papers, and when they hit me up with the no trespassing papers, I had like 14 days to get out of the house.
Wait,
And,
was that because of all the drinking and where you guys' relationship was at, or was something else tip over the hat? For that?
Yeah, basically just because of my drinking. She has 2 kids. She was married before too. She's 36, so she's
Gotcha. So she's
a
been
little
there,
older
done
than me.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's just like, bro, you're a liability. Like, you're drinking. You're not helping me take care of your daughter. You're here, but you're not doing anything. You just lost your job. You're not helping. You're more of a liability than an asset. So, and if you don't want to get out, I'm going to force you out of my house, because it was her own house. Like, she built her house from the ground up.
Shit, I would almost call her up and thank her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
shit.
Exactly. So that's what ended up happening. It's like, so when she put me out of the house, man, I had a duffel bag and like a tote full of shit, and I was just carrying it around from
right, because your car's gone. Yeah,
my car's gone, my job's gone, and that's when I just started my period of like homelessness for about like a year or so, and I ended up going. Yeah, I crashed at some roach motels, and I was roach motels, and I was like donating blood to get money, saving up cans. I was doing everything the fuck I could just to, because I still had to make payments for child support. Like I just because I put myself in this bad situation doesn't mean that my kids deserve to suffer.
Right.
So, any little bit of money that I had, any little bit of money I would get, was like, I would just put it towards, child support, or like, my daughter's mom was like, I know you're in a rough place right now. I don't expect anything from you, but I was like, no, that's not how I am. So if I, work a little bit of overtime, I had some money saved up, or whatnot, I would, buy some Pampers, or buy wipes, or I would do something to show that, I can still, I may not be in a good place right now mentally or physically, but I still deserve it. I'm still, that's still my daughter, or that's still my son. So that was another thing too. Was just like, I just never stopped forgetting that I still had kids to take care of, even though I wasn't taking care of myself. And so that's when I ended up going to like veterans rehab for about a year or two. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started to realize that, one, I have a drinking problem, and two, I kind of caused these things in my mess that I kind of wound up, and I put a lot of people into my mess because of the way I was as well too. So I mean, I can't take blame for everything, but the things that were my fault, I just need to own up and man up and be like, yeah, I fucked up here, I fucked up there.
Yeah.
And so I had to take responsibility for, the shit that I did. So.
Now, how do you and your ex-wife get along now? You guys good?
My ex-wife or my ex-girlfriend?
Oh, you didn't get married to the second one? Your daughters?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay.
I thought you did too.
No. So basically, just the summary, I have 2 kids with 2 different women, and I was married and we never had kids. If that makes sense.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
say that again.
Say that again.
So I have 2 kids with 2 different women.
Yep.
And I was married, but we never had any kids.
Yeah, you were just the girlfriend you had the kid with.
No. If that makes sense. So I had my son. I had my son with a different female.
Yeah.
I was married to a different female. We never had any kids. Then I had a daughter.
So you just had a divorce and then 2 baby.
There's three women in this whole story. I thought there was only 2.
Yeah.
I thought
that's why there's confusion.
Yeah. Damn.
No.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I was married. Remember you said, I was married. So that's what I was saying. I had like a girlfriend, a baby mama, and a wife. All at.
Oh. Yeah.
So
I got you.
so basically there was like a crazy triangle going on here. basically it's Hurricane Terry, and I'm the eye of the storm. I'm just fucking shit up.
Hurricane Terry. I think we should switch the title to that.
Yeah, I might have to.
Damn.
Yeah, so I was just wreaking havoc, man. I was just
Wow.
But
what are you doing now? You're on a good path, it seems like. 3 years sober.
So 3 years sober now. I see my daughter is like right down the road.
That's awesome.
We're on good speaking terms now. Actually the no trespassing order is lifted. So sometimes.
Would you call her again though? Would you call her on a phone a friend?
Probably not.
I might want to rethink that one.
Yeah, I know. I might just, not put that as my favorites or fucking contact. But yeah, so things are going well with us.
She's the star of the whole show because
she saved your life.
She literally did the hardest choice, which really put a trajectory onto the new road of your life. Which obviously you lost the game. But
hey, you didn't lose the game. You lost the round, but you're winning. You're winning right now.
You're doing good
yeah,
now.
man.
I mean, that wasn't.
Yeah,
I'm sure it wasn't an easy to look at your person that you actually admire or like to be like, yo, he's drunk right now, even though you probably had justification to drink because obviously you had work, job.
But it probably took a lot for her to finally go over that line and be like, you know what. You're messing with my kids now, and this is it. Like you're out. She probably had mad love for you, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, that is true. Sometimes we just talk now too. She's like, "Man, I'm glad you're on the right path." Like I was saying, she doesn't have like the band for me from her house, whatnot. Yeah. Or sometimes she's like, "Hey, your daughter's upstairs. Go upstairs. Go check out her room or something like that." Or
now, would you guys ever get back together, or it's not like that? It's just you guys are just
it's not like that. Yeah, we're just cool. We can just
awesome.
We can talk or text or just, hey, how's your life going? How's this going? Or I'm going on vacation. You can get her for 2 weeks. So it's a lot better.
Yeah,
I think I just had to sit down and realize that like where my priorities were in life, as well as. You figure if I came to New Hampshire when I was like 10 years old, then, parents got divorced when I was 10, then, I moved away on my own. So you figure that's like 12, 14, that's probably maybe like 14 or 15 years. I'm 33 now. It's like 15 years of just like, there's like there's like this voided gap of like a lot of shit that never really should have happened. Like,
right.
Like any like man, like there's like certain milestones you should hit, and you really didn't hit any of the fucking milestones growing up. Like, there was no support system, there was no father figure. You started drinking when you were 15. You saw like domestic violence in your house. There was all these things going on in your life. Then finally you sit down and you're just like, shit, all this has been going on since I was like 10 years old. Now you're 30 and you're like, damn, I really have to realize I missed a lot of periods of growth in my life that, kids should have. And they never had a chance to have that. So now I'm 30 years old. It feels like, at some point I'm kind of trying to go back to like write these different pieces of my life. And I can kind of write those with my kids. Now, like, okay, I'm in my son's life now, so he's 8. What was I doing when I was 8 that I didn't have? Okay, great. My daughter is 4. What things I remember doing at 4 that I wish I would have done with my dad? So I'm kind of like I got a chance to like, live because I didn't, die either in war or in a car accident or drinking and doing crazy things. But now I actually get to, do these things with my kids that I never had a chance to do with my dad.
Yeah.
So, and that's the point I think about being a father now is I want just taking responsibility for the things that I did, as well as what can I do better? Like what kind of legacy do I want to leave for my kids now? Now I'm 30.
Dude, man, that's awesome, bro. That's a crazy story, but I mean, right now you're doing so good. It seems like.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot better now.
Yeah.
So, sky's the limit now. I think now just got my master's in social work. So I have to pass my state licensure now to be a licensed social worker in the state of Texas. And that was one of my goals, is just to give back either to like the veteran community,
yeah,
who have like mental health issues as well as substance abuse issues.
Dude, we just filmed a video about that here with our work. Yeah, Veterans Count. We just did a cool video about like, dude, a lot of them like drink. Well, I don't want to say a lot of them, but I mean, a good amount probably drink
More
and
than
have
one.
issues. Yeah, so it's like it's pretty crazy their stories.
Yeah, but I think you'll probably realize that listen to mine, listen to theirs, you're like, damn, there's a lot of similarities.
Right? Yeah.
Like there's probably a lot of.
Dude, and even the homelessness too, and like it's like, does your mom still live in New Hampshire, back here in Portsmouth?
Yeah, she still lives there.
Yeah.
She lives in New Hampshire still. She lives in Portsmouth still.
Man, yeah, it's just crazy to be like, to hear that you were homeless for almost a year and like, doing the things you were doing. It's like, damn, like that's crazy, Yeah,
man. Still gotta survive, take care of
right.
kids, man.
Yeah. Wow. Well, dude, shout out to you. You're killing the game, man. You're killing it. You're doing good.
Easy. That's
right. Yeah, man. I'm trying to now.
Yeah. Well.
That's
yeah, man. Thank you for coming on this. This is something new for us, the podcast. We love it. And damn, yeah, your story was wild but you're headed down the right road, which is awesome.
Yeah, it is, man. So just sky's the limit now. So hopefully, get a better job and house now and all these other things are starting to come, full circle.
Yep.
So.
Word. Awesome, man. Well, we'll catch you later. Just good job on not drinking, being sober for 3 years. That's awesome.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
Congrats on that, and thank you for sharing your story because there's a lot of men out there that's gone through a lot of similar things. Whether it's
I feel like half of them dipped out or half your way through your story.
Let alone having a kid early and baby mama, then the marriage, then not having a dad and doing all those things. So many of them, like you said, would have dipped out and let alone failed. And, you sharing your story, is the first step of changing the narrative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not having all three of us, similar situation, not having dads in their life or early, or we all have similar, ups and downs in our childhood. So now we're setting the stage by just opening the doors of communication. So now people can be like, this kid went through more stuff than I'm going through.
Right.
What am I doing with my own life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You were homeless and drinking. Like, I don't know what's lower than that.
Right.
To get to rise up from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people don't get out of that.
No.
Yeah.
Some people don't even pay child support, let alone you're still have the mindset of I'm going to get cans and donate my own blood if I have to take care of mine. So that's hats off to you, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Well, go say thank you to your daughter's baby mama. I mean,
yeah, she's a star of the show right now. She did.
You text her right now.
Right. She did right.
Yeah, actually, man, I do sometimes. We still talk about it. Sometimes we laugh about some shit now.
That's awesome.
And just before I got off the phone, it's like she actually saved, like from the time we got together and like the time she kicked me out, she actually, like sometimes she texts me, she's like, I still find beer cans like random places in the house.
Damn.
I'm like, she's like, I found a beer can under my roof.
On my roof.
What the fuck? It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, man. Yeah,
Probably not even
still find a
yours.
beer can.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Oh man, well that's big ups to you, man, for stepping
All right,
up
man.
and freaking not only fatherhood but manhood. You know what I mean, and still doing it. Now look at yourself.
We can all do it. Yeah, I know. We can all do it, man.
That's awesome, man. Well, definitely check this episode out. This is Aamir Terry, the man at war. We might have to change it to Hurricane Terry. But no, man, that was awesome, bro.
All right, man.
All right, we'll see you.
All right, man. Peace out.
All right, man. Take care, guys.
Later.
Peace.
Awesome. That was a wild story.
That was
a wild story.
Prepared for that.
Wow, yeah, but good for him because that's tough to get out of.
I'm speechless right now.
It's crazy though to think like we grew up with him, so it's crazy to think like your friends, people that are like struggling that hard. It's like,
I know
damn.
we literally went through high school with him. We were all like,
yeah, that was my boy.
And now
we go to Rye Airfield together,
which just really just shows you like how much is really going on in someone else's life that you have no idea.
Absolutely.
Like I would never guess that like we all have our struggles. We pay bills and stuff like that. But he had some serious issues that he had to deal with internally and externally to get to where he's at.
Yeah,
and we had no idea.
Yeah, that's wild. Well, he also moved away, you know. When he was here, yeah.
Well, at least when he was here, I didn't have any idea that he was even like partying or anything. I thought he was just Aamir.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's wild. Wow, everybody has a story. It's crazy, but
big ups to him, man.
That was a dope episode. We gotta wrap it up, but yeah, that was a good episode. I think people are really gonna like that one.
Yeah, that's woo. Well, hopefully his story moves somebody.
Yeah. Well, there's two sides to every story. In Aamir's case, there's about three or four
of them and counting.
But this is our side, so yeah, we're out.
All right, we out.
Later.
Listen, you can't hold me down.